This Beyond Clean Articles on the Go feature is titled, How Could Pay for Productivity Change the Game for Your SPD Team? Written by Hank Balch, founder and president of Beyond Clean. The summer of my freshman year of college, I took a job with the state government. It was my first office job and first foray into the public service sector. I was a temp among a group of other temps whose main jobs were to digitize old files and shred the originals. But I learned a principle of productivity that summer that I've never forgotten. Where there is no incentive for excellence, excellence is hard to find. We were all paid the same $10 per hour, regardless of how many files we scanned or how many boxes we shredded. How did that impact our productivity? Well, some of us who were naturally competitive did push ourselves to outdo each other's daily totals, but others simply came in, punched a clock, and did their best not to break a sweat. But I digress. This is not a post about a government temp job. It's a post about how you and I could run our sterile processing departments differently, and I believe, more cost-efficiently. What if incentives for your sterile processing techs were more than the possibility of a 2% raise at the end of the year? What if, instead of paying overtime and premium pay, your compensation program was partially based on actual productivity? What if the harder and safer your team worked, the more they got paid? Before we delve much deeper into those questions, let's try to answer a simpler one. Does your team know how much their labor is actually worth? National data says the median pay for sterile processing technicians is around $14 an hour. But that still doesn't answer our question. Your facility may pay its SPD techs $14 per hour for their labor, but what kind of value are our techs giving in return? For those departments and leaders operating under productivity standards, such as total items processed per month or total loads sterilized, we understand very well that hospital administration puts a productivity number on each of our FTEs, full-time equivalents. There is a clear expectation that we do our jobs well and do them efficiently. Our department efficiency is monetized. But there's a problem. There is very little external incentive for individual technicians to drive their own efficiency. Sure, those who take personal pride in being productivity leaders will naturally stand out in a department. But what about everyone else? Does it incentivize technicians to pay them similar rates for differing levels of productivity and quality? What's the number one complaint of cross-shift dynamics? They're not pulling their own weight. What if we could cut this complaint off at the root and revolutionize the way we link compensation to quality sterile processing at the same time? The Golden Triangle. If your facility keeps any kind of production statistics, you have access to all the data you need to run the numbers on something like this. You know how many payroll hours you log each pay period. You know how many sets you process or how many items you sterilize. If you've got a current quality assurance program in place, you'll also know what your error rate is per 100 sets processed. So do your own calculations. Find out what you're currently paying your team per labor hour per quality set. Now imagine what would happen to that number if you linked speed, quality, and monetary incentive into the golden triangle of sterile processing compensation. If you actually rewarded those technicians who excelled at doing their jobs excellently. Consider this. A department of 25 FTEs processed a total of 7,900 items last month, utilizing 4,000 labor hours. At an average hourly rate of $14, those 7,900 items cost the facility $56,000 to process. But any manager who has ever looked at staff productivity knows that the weight of production is not evenly distributed among all 25 FTEs. Some technicians drive productivity averages, others drag it down. So, let's say you had a golden triangle model of compensation in place. Instead of just paying $14 per hour, whether a technician processes 1 tray an hour or 8, your facility also pays a $3.50 premium on every quality tray a technician processes above the department average. Using the example above for comparison purposes, we know that the previous average is 1.975 trays processed per hour per employee, or 316 trays per month. Under the Golden Trinity model, a technician who processed 20 additional trays per month, 1 additional tray per day, would take home a bonus of $70, and your department would save about $71 or about 5 labor hours. If only 3 technicians did this per month, you would save the facility about $2,556 and 180 labor hours annually, and pay out $2,520 in incentive pay to your highest performing staff. The real payday. If you're not already on the phone to your director of finance, I've got even more ammunition for you. These numbers we're talking about aren't even touching the savings you could be seeing in doing away with the need for costly overtime, at time and a half, upwards of $3,000 per month, and the competitive edge it would give your department in both retaining and recruiting the absolute top talent in your area. It would be a game changer. If you're not sold on the idea, that's fine too, but the point I'm getting at is this. Excellent technicians, both in quality and speed, deserve to be rewarded and incentivized for excellent work. Departments who can figure out a creative way to do this will win the battle for cost-efficient quality that's currently raging across every sterile processing department in the country. This is just one idea. What's yours?